Hello guys and welcome to the ProDota Cup by Smashcast TV. We have a match today between the guys of Midas Club Elite and Big Fan in a best of two that will show us who can actually make it into the group stages. As Midas Club Elite facing elimination, they need those 2 points against Big Fan to even face a chance of tying with them and possibly getting those tiebreakers, but that'd be questionable anyway. But regardless, Midas Club Elite will be fighting those two with the water against the neck, seeing if they can actually beat them. And of course, we're in the ProDota Cup, this time the American region, sponsored by XBet, which offers live betting on all ProDota Cup matches, offering the best odds and the highest payouts. Win with XBet, use bonus code BOUNTYX to deposit and get 100 euros free. That said, guys, we will be getting now into the draft itself. Before we do so, allow me to present myself. My name is DSwordfish, and I'll be casting this game today with Vätte. How are you doing, my friend?
Hello everyone, and it's interesting to see that there is some kind of a mirror opening for both Midas Club Elite plus Big Fan. I believe that is going to be an offlane Sand King and offlane Offshaker, so both teams revealed their position 5 and position 3. Yet for the Big Fan, I see more ganking potential with Earthshaker and Shadow Shaman, plenty of lockdown, while Disruptor is probably not that efficient of a ganker. As a Shadow Shaman, question is what Midas Club Elite are actually going to pick up as a position 4 for their side. And let's see what's going to be the position 4, or maybe mid lane, or any other position for a Big Fan now.
Yeah, position 4 probably going to be the pick, like you say. Night Stalker's been banned, probably the start pick here with the Shadow Shaman combination. Maybe you want to run into something like an Earthspade, Ogre Magi. These kind of heroes work decently with a Shadow Shaman, unless you want to run the Shadow Shaman itself, position 4. Something that ganks, essentially, they can give you the range. I've seen the Jakiro Shadow Shaman played by Big Fan as well before, but that would, again, require Shadow Shaman to be your position 4. But it's nice because of the long range stun. And Kunkka. Okay, you have same idea, right? So Ogre Magi, Kunkka, the Night Stalker, strong tanky heroes that can initiate from decently far range. Ogre Magi not so great, but Kunkka is with the X marks the spot 2nd level, and also a nice counter to Disruptor. If you have good enough reflexes, you should be able to counter that glimpse almost every single time, as long as you call out "I'm being glimpsed," X marks the spot, and you just get brought back. And it's a nice counter if you do happen to start losing that game.
That's actually interesting as well, and there's going to be a position for Sand King and Enigma in the offlane for Midas Club Elite. Yet from side of a Big Fan, I'm really scared of this amazing duo of support, Shadow Shaman plus Kunkka. Shadow Shaman kind of compensates lack of a range on the spells for Kunkka in the very beginning of the game. Shackles don't have that much of a range also, but at least it's a decent setup for Torrent. Later on in the game, they will probably pick up some kind of a carry who does fine on his own, but question who can actually do fine against Enigma, because maybe right clicks from Enigma are not that heavy, but he's constantly spamming Eidolons. You're suffering from lack of a XP from your side, and if you're going to run a tri-lane, you may be pretty low on levels later on in the game. It's interesting which kind of a sustainable carry Big Fan will pick. Any ideas?
Oh, okay. Well, there's his answer for you before I could even answer myself. Troll Warlord is the pick. It's probably carry. Could run in mid, but almost always run carry nowadays unless you have to run in mid. Really good with the Shadow Shaman to give you the pushing power you require. Easy combinations with a Kunkka to get kills in the early game. Not too weak against that Disruptor because, well, you know, Troll Warlord can be pretty naturally, and Enigma might find him, but you can always be range carry and even go for a mobility build, some sort of Shadow Blade, so Enigma can't find you with a Black Hole either. So Big Fan going for the Troll Warlord. The question is now what Midas Club Elite will run. A mid and a carry is what they require, and against this Troll, what are traditional anti-Troll picks? You could go for, I mean, there's a lot of unconventional picks, like for example the Slark or the Weaver, that are pretty good against this Troll.
Yeah, but they are pretty low HP, and from side of a Big Fan we already see 2 massive nukes from the F-Shaker plus Kunkka, plus a decent lockdown with Shadow Shaman, and even if it is a Weaver, for example, rushed Lincoln Sphere, there are plenty of ways to cancel these Lincolns, and bam, OD, that's a deadly combo wombo from side of Midas Club Elite. Black Hole into Epicenter plus OD, Disruptor keeps everyone in place. Could be a decent idea, yet actually OD could have been also good for a Big Fan. but Midas Club Elite, I guess they picked it up not only to save their teammates, at least a little bit from Conca, but also to prevent the OD pick from the big fan.
I do like Lado D pick. I find really strong. Combined with Disruptor in the early game, you ensure a pretty easy mid lane for you if the Disruptor wants to gank you. On top of that, OD with the Sanking makes it so that Sanking can actually gank the mid lane a bit more securely before it hits the level 3. As you can always have the setup with the Ask for Imprisonment. Yeah, it's a low range spell, but you're not gonna expect the Sanking to come out of nowhere. And it's a setup for 4 seconds, which is pretty ridiculous. It allows you to really walk from anywhere with the Sanking. Pretty really powerful Midas Club Elite. I'm liking what they're drafting here. Only question is, what would Big Fan go in the mid lane to try to counter this combination? You still have the Quap available to you. It could be a good ban, just because of her nice escape mechanism. She can fight against the OD with a lot of security. Otherwise, the Puck is okay. Or you could go just full lane domination and try with a Razor, which actually would not be a bad idea for Big Fan. Yeah. Oh, never mind. No, I'm an idiot. That's bad. Take it away.
Well, let's think about what can they actually pick up. So now they need to get rid of some kind of a mid laner, unless Big Fan will go for some kind of a troll in the mid, but they think that it probably could have been in Volk. Venomancer as a carry from Midas Club Elite, a lot of magical damage, and it feels like we will see Pipe insanely fast from side of a Big Fan, unless they will die in every team fight to this insane amount of damage. It's pretty interesting because Black Hole and Poison Nova, they got pretty much the, well, around the same cooldown in the beginning, like 60 seconds difference on the level 1 for both.
Wow.
Zeus for a Big Fan.
I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that. Really easy to gank this.
Well, he got a decent killing potential, in my opinion, can stay away from the OD, so he shouldn't suffer that much from his Astral Imprisonment and then rotation from side of a Theolicker on Sanking, so he can safely farm on his high ground. Plus, with Shadow Shaman and Conca plus Burst from Zeus, it will be easy to kill almost anyone in the early stage of the game for Midas Club Elite.
That is true, that is true. They do have also the global range from the Zeus, which allows you to have vision, which combined with the X marks the spot could be really powerful. And something that people don't usually consider, but Kunkka with an allied X marks the spot with Zeus, you're able to get a Blink Dagger pretty early and get a couple of kills early on without the necessity of actually sacrificing your Zeus, so that's a possibility. Yep, they can definitely do this. I don't know if I do love this Big Fan lineup too much, though. The Midas Club Elite actually... they actually went for a really smart lineup with the Wombo combo to some degree, and the Venomancer I also like, because there's 2 ways to counter the Troll Warlord. One of them is with, like we said, Weaver, Slark. These kind of heroes are really hard to catch. And the second one is with a hero that even if he dies, he still has impact, and that being literally only Venomancer, one of the few suicide bombers of Dota. And with a Poison Nova, he has a lot of damage against Troll, completely destroys his armor. Zeus doesn't also deal with Venomancer too well, because again, he just doesn't care if he dies, and he will be the Vanguard from Midas Club Elite. Can even run a pipe early on, which we have seen in some Venomancers, and can be really effective against the Zeus. But again, it'll all be dependent on the execution this game.
That's actually pretty interesting that there are no natural pipe builders from side of Big Fan, and all the heroes actually not farming that fast. Like if I'm talking about supports, Conca, even though he got a wave clear, and Torrent, well, I won't say that he farms stacks that efficiently. Same goes for the Shadow Shaman, and they are relying on ganking too much in the very beginning of the game. And against Midas Club Elite, that may be problematic. They got Disruptor on their side, plus there's a good possibility for them to get a counter kill with a Sanking and Venomancer, so you don't really want to mess with these guys. And probably the only target here is Lelis in the off lane, but he's Enigma, he can rotate to the jungle anytime if the lane will be too hard.
That is true, so that's why the Enigma is actually a pretty safe pick, considering you already have pretty secure lanes apart from it. So if the Venomancer should have a pretty nice lane, the OD to himself as well. You can rotate the Sanking and the Disruptor between these 2 lanes, leave the Enigma completely alone like you said, and of course, you also can, because you can always put him in the jungle. In addition to that, Enigma against Troll Warlord, not the easiest of lanes, especially with the Shadow Shaman and Gunka harassing you, but let's be honest, he shouldn't have much trouble. If the Troll Warlord is left alone in the bottom lane, he should be okay, as Tor does not have many ways to clear his Eidolon. So, for now, let's see an engagement. Seems like Midas is going onto the Zeus, and will start to steal his rune. This might be a kill on the Zeus, though. Burrow Strike is available. A Thunderstrike first. Ooh, Burst like level 1 only, not enough range. They're gonna steal his rune instead. And they give it to Tío Licor to start off. Venomancer tanking the top rune, but they themselves have lost their own mid's rune.
Oh, actually, take a look how efficiently they are zoning out Gunner, so they stayed there for a little bit. And the first pack of creeps is completely lost for Zeus, and that's a great news for Odie. Oh, take a look at this. Tío Licor keeps on chasing Gunner, probably will even commit a Borrow Strike. Nah, unfortunately, rage on level 1 is so small. But Gunner already missed his creeps, at least 2.
Yeah, that's really good. That is really good. That gives the OD a good advantage since you both lost the bounty runes. It's not that much of a loss for either of you. And the OD recovered is per se lost bounty rune, but also destroyed the Zeus. And the Licor will now stay in the mid lane. Like we said, since they don't need to help the off lane at all, because it's an Enigma, and they can just go jungle, worst case scenario, they are allowed much more freedom to move between the safe lane and the mid lane. And your Venomancer should be able to win this lane most likely, especially against a melee hero, so they can secure that OD's lane pretty easily.
Yeah, that actually was a very smart last pick from Serva Midas Club Elite, because when fucking A will get more levels, there will be no issues at all to zone out enough from his lane. Earthshaker will suffer quite a lot on this lane, and both supports are actually completely free to do whatever. Pekka most likely will focus on stacking and farming these stacks with pulls. Later on get his early level 6, and Tío Licor most likely dedicated his life to annoying Zeus on the mid lane, but oh, look at this, actually Gonka defends his mid lane.
This is the issue with having a position 4 tanking. The same reason you have the Nyx Assassin. They're not particularly the tankiest or the strongest heroes if you fight 1v1 and just auto attacks. You'd kind of rely much more on your spells and your abilities. Kunkka, on the other hand, high armor, high HP, high damage, is able to usually beat these 1 versus 1 engagements between the position 4s. The same way that the Earth Spirit is also countered by them. And oh, he even takes a double damage. I might be able to get the kill here actually with the double damage. He's following him through, has boots. Tío Licor has his own boots though, should be able to survive. At the very least, he is losing the Sanking's help in the mid lane for the OD.
That's actually pretty interesting that mostly we see Zeus dominating on the lane, farming with the Arc Lightning in the very beginning. But, wow, Pepita actually gets so much more creeps than Zeus does, but finally he can't really contest with Kunkka and his double damage. Well,
yeah, but he cleared the lane already, so he's not. He might lose denies, yeah, but he won't lose too many lasses, which is okay for Papita. And in the end, double damage, yeah, got used, but it's gonna have some sort of an impact. Papita's still beating him in lane for quite a while, considering that Gunner is playing a Zeus. Should be able to beat the OD in general in lane, just because of his art lightning spam, but it's a bit harder with the help of the Sanking. We already see as well the top lane being pushed slightly by fucking it. He might even opt for the Plague Wards build as opposed to a 2-2-2, going for a 2-1-2. And 2-1-3 later on, skipping the Poison Nova.
Yeah, actually maybe a good idea, because they need to get a bit of a setup, and I don't think that Big Fan will actually try to mess with Venomancer, who is getting his levels fairly fast on the top lane. And just take a look at this. So Sanking, instead of a position 4, transferred a little bit in the position 3. He farms in the jungle, or he farms on the bottom lane, and that is actually switched completely to the woods. That's a great play by Midas Club Elite, but nobody's punishing Enigma for that, and there was not a single kill yet in the game, 4 minutes in.
Yeah, it's interesting because Kunkka is one of the few heroes that can actually go into the woods pretty reliably, pour into maybe getting on Enigma, especially with the rotation of a Shadow Shaman. Both heroes actually can do that. But I guess if they do leave the lane, especially the Shadow Shaman, the Enigma will just come back to the lane and not really bother. And something else that they've been doing really well is Tío Licor actually coming down to the bottom lane, sapping some experience, taking the banners from the enemy team. It seems like they're taking much more advantage of this early game, and you can see the last hits denies. Venomancer, OD, and Enigma leading, whereas the Zeus a bit behind the OD, and of course that Earthshaker far behind as he's fighting against a Venomancer. And Earthshaker might even die here. They're committing to this glimpse, brings him back. The Enigma sees him. Malif is available, so he could contest this if he wants to. Enough has a TP, but has to use a Mango to use it. In the end, they're not going to bother with the skill. Wow. Instead, mid lane is the objective, Papita, with a haste rune. And comes Tío Licor with the Burst Strike. Should be able to kill the Zeus. At least that's the idea. There's one level of Arcane Orb. Should be enough damage. Gunner tries to kill the Sand King. Won't accomplish it before he himself dies. Tío Licor tries to evade the damage, but Sandstorms and goes away a bit too early. Should have kept it 1 more second there, and you would have survived the attack, probably.
Yeah, that was a good idea by the Midas Club Elite. At least Sand King got his level 3 plus Tranquil Boots are up. And, well, Pekka only level 2 now, but Cash is in the same situation. And the situation seems kind of even, but Midas Club Elite are benefiting from the situation they are in. It feels like free farm on all the free cores from their side is much better than the situation of free farming Troll plus Gunnar being contested on the mid lane, and the same situation with the Earthshaker on top lane.
Yeah, the issue right now for Big Fan is the only lane they're winning is the Troll Warlord's lane, and even though he can snowball to some degree, you do rely a bit on your team to give you the setup necessary for those kills, especially when you're fighting against someone like Midas Club Elite, who has the Astral Imprisonment, fantastic for stopping a Troll Warlord. That's getting a bit out of control, and you're also giving a lot of farm to the OD, which is a very dangerous game to be playing. However, it seems like Big Fan finally decided to go for the OD. At least that's the objective, but it's a bit hard. You don't have X marks the spot just yet in Hookah.
This position on Papita, they realized the Troll got left alone. It's like, look at this. They know that the only way Big Fan can possibly go is from the top side of river. So he stands closer to his tower, closer to TPs, and as soon as they realize that there are no supports on the bottom, they actually start to pressure Zingle on the bottom lane. The early core actually rotates, but well, Zingle is fairly fast, plenty of regen on his side.
Yeah, they're not gonna be able to get that kill on the single. It's hard, and you can commit the black hole, I suppose, but do you have enough damage? In the mid lane, actually, they're gonna go into Gunnar. Papita fighting up against everyone, and Cash might just go down. He needs the fairy fire. Papita stole a lot of intelligence. Gunnar, though, comes in with a lightning bolt, and might have to consider twice if he wants to go too far. He does have the treads, though, for extra added survivability, and the magic stick. Just slowly recovering those charges, while on the bottom lane, they go on to this Troll Warlord, finally come in the black hole, and the damage from Caustic Finale will just finish him off. They managed to kill the enemy carry. Midas Club Elite pulling up ahead.
It's actually pretty neat, the thing which is going on. Oh, actually, Honka running away from the mad Sanking. And what's surprising that Enigma is on top of the net worth. And now she got 3k gold on minute 7. And only Troll from side of a Big Fan who free farmed to some point on the bottom lane is in the top 3, but he got replaced by OD now, and top 3 networks are now for Midas Club Elite. Things are going well for them, and they're not getting punished for their greed.
No, that's the worst part, that they actually play really greedily. Enigma will go in jungle, OD really just farming out this as much as he can. Even the Venomancer's putting pressure into the lane by trying to take the tower early, and this really clever plague ward wall he makes here. This, by the way, is how you're supposed to play Venom, for those of you that always play it. You want to block the creeps, because this is piercing damage from the Venom wards. They actually don't deal much damage to the tower, but they deal a lot of damage to the creeps, which is what he's trying to do here. However, it can be easily punished if they just gank him and try to take out his wards, or if they rotate some position 4 and try to take down these plague wards. But they're unable to, because Midas, I mean, they're just punishing every single rotation from the enemy team.
Actually, what's pretty interesting is that Fan, they're much more afraid of OD in the mid lane, so they already made 2 attempts of killing Papita in the mid lane, and they didn't really succeed in this, to be honest. And there is a TP. Konka is already there, but meanwhile on the bottom lane they actually try to go on Pekka, and whoa, Troll may die here. Here comes the Boros strike. Right clicks, and that's a jet Troll. Cash tried to save the situation, but instead he will lose his life also. Double kill for Lelis. Well, that's an unfortunate sequence of events for Big Fan.
Seems like in the end, the guys from Midas will be getting 2 kills onto the bottom lane. Shadow Shaman and Troll Warlord, pretty important. Killing Shadow Shaman and make sure that your lanes are safe for at least the next couple 10 seconds. And of course, killing that Troll Warlord stops the only hero that's been farming well for Midas Club Elite. And it seems like the lead is starting for them, and they don't particularly... I wouldn't have expected them to win the lanes, to be perfectly honest. I thought the Kunkka would have much more impact on the Shadow Shaman. And he's trying to do that with the top lane kill. Venomancer does go down. They even commit the Thunder God's Wrath. But... that's again just to kill on the Venomancer with a 2-man rotation.
Yeah, and they committed quite a lot. Echo Slam plus Wrath. Wasn't that a bit of an overkill? But at least Papita lost some HP in the mid lane, so Gunnar feels more secure. To be honest. And well, take a look at this. They completely abandoned the bottom lane. They committed 3 people on the top, and now they're unable to do anything to defend their tier 1 on the bottom lane, and there is already a rotation on the top from Venomancer, and there will be not a big issue for them to defend this lane. Enigma also got his TP 30 seconds to Black Hole Dead Tower, and well, maybe some kind of a turn. Theolicker actually defends Papita in the mid lane. He knows that probably there will be some kind of a rotation from side of a big fan, but nothing successful now from their side. Only 2 kills against 4, and for the last kill they committed quite a lot. So their spells got pretty decent cooldown in the very beginning of the game, especially Echo Slam. So now they can't even kill anyone, it feels like.
Yeah, they did lose a lot with that one. I think the Thunder God's Wrath was the naming or the excessive force. It wasn't even used at all. It actually came a bit too late, but regardless, it was not necessary for the guys at Big Fan. And now they don't have the vision really, so you can't confidently gank too much. And the Zeus also wasted a lot of mana. And fucking it will come back to his lane domination regardless. Yes, he lost a little bit of gold, but he's fine now. He's still recovering and still above the Troll Warlord anyway. As Papita and the Enigma are also going to be the main farmers for this team anyway. Papita, who has gone for the Midas and will be playing a very greedy Enigma. What do you think the build is? And I think BKB this game is much more important than Link or anything of that sort. Just go straight up BKB for Enigma. And then maybe Garden Creeps early.
Well, why not actually Midas? Nobody is punishing him for this, and the more he can snowball from the position he is in,
no,
why
of course.
not?
After Midas.
Yeah.
I mean, after Midas, sorry.
After Midas, well, simply running in there, I am not sure about the straight BKB because, well, heroes from the side of a big fan, they're fairly fast. Troll, for example, he can move away from the black hole with no issues, but BKB can be good, but maybe something like Guardian Grips would be much better in the end. They got a Venomancer, and if they will just 5-man and push with Plague Wards, it may be a good decision for them. There is actually 4 points in the Plague Wards, and no skill on the Poison Oa. He completely skipped this spell.
Yeah, there's no need to really skill Poison Nova too early when you're not going to buy on team fighting. The Plague Wards gives you much more domination. It is weird to see more points in the Poison thing so early, as opposed to like even an extra point in the Venomous Scale, but it is going to work out for him just because of the ward domination. Pickle will go down, but at the expense of the Zeus, that's pretty okay. That's a really good trade for Midas Club Elite. Pickle's happy with that.
Yeah, 30 seconds in the tavern for Zeus, and the rotation from Lilith and Theolicker on the top lane. Most likely this Shaker will say bye-bye to his life because there is a Black Hole and Epicenter. No, actually no Epicenter on level 7 on Sanking, but it doesn't really matter. Here comes the Malefice, and Earthshake, even though he tried to defend himself with a Fisher, didn't really work out. Meanwhile, on the bottom, the most useless tower on the map finally fell. There is no level 6 on Shadow Shaman yet, so no Serpent Wands, so push is not that efficient. And here comes the rotation from Papita. He got a 4-staff, so will he catch up to them? Oh no.
Good Static Storm though. Papita in the air. He's gonna fight this. He still has the 4-staff anyway. Uses the ultimate, destroys 2. The objective is now the Kunkka, only remaining member. And what originally could have been a good gank ends up being a massacre on Midas Club Elite's side. Complete domination by these guys.
It feels like it was some kind of an easy walk for Midas Club Elite. They defended top lane, killed Earthshaker, took tower, and then bam. Oh, there are 3 guys from the big fan on the bottom. Let's TP on the shrine, and there is actually no vision of the shrine. So big fan came there to push a tier 2. They were so sure that they will remain on top from the side of the Midas Club Elite, but why? Why do they want to go for the tier 2? If they can punish Big Fan on the bottom, there is no vision actually. That was such a risky play by Big Fan, and it got instantly punished by Midas Club Elite. But even if they got a vision, what could they do? Oh, there's an Arcane Rune. Oh, sweet gift for Gonna. Arcane with Zeus. What can be better? And it feels like it's going to be a death of fucking A. Can't really survive this.
Yeah, he's being pulled back, even the shackles, the phasure, just throw everything on this poor banana. And needs to be peeled away as they destroy him. However, that might be a tower trade. No, it doesn't seem like Midas Club Elite will do much with this. We do see them still farming though and taking advantage of this kill up top with these rotations to just get the farm up on the rest of their cores. After all, Venomancer, he skills well with farm, but since he has a Midas, he can actually allow himself a couple of deaths in the early game and still be fine in the late. Papita is the real hero that you want to make sure stays alive, but he's doing perfectly fine in that regard. Almost finishing up with Hurricane Pike as well, minute 15, pretty early.
That's A lot of fun from Zero and Midas Club Elite, and here comes the glimpse on Konka. Yeah, as you mentioned in the very beginning, X-mark the spot on yourself or anyone from your team. And not that much what Disruptor can actually do. What's interesting, he completely skipped Kinetic Field and got for 3 points in Thunderstrike. Actually, equal points in Glimpse and Thunderstrike. It's an interesting decision, not a kind of a common build, especially from a Disruptor.
Yeah, I mean, not surprising to see the Thunderstrike build again, considering I think it was Midas Club Elite themselves, was it? Oh no, it was Team Wolf, never mind. Okay, then it is surprising. We are seeing it in the lane domination again, perhaps is the point, and to reduce that cooldown to get more glimpses. After all, if you don't want Kinetic Field, you don't need it, or you find like you don't need it, then why not? I mean, you do have a lot of control with Papita anyway with Astral Imprisonment, and with a Black Hole, they'll ensure the kill onto his Troll Warlord. He misses a Whirling Axis onto Papita, and in the end, he's gonna lose his life. Black Hole committed for this kill, definitely worth it.
Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Venomancer is already pushing tier 2. Ghost Ship by Konka, yet fucking A simply running away as Konka stood up with the timing. And the Glimpse on enough, so there is no Fissure even with a Blink Dagger. But there is also double damage on him now, but not that much mana. Only Echo Slime will take away all his mana, and I don't think that right clicks plus Echo Slime will be enough to finish off both Disruptor and Venomancer on the bottom lane.
Yeah, it seems like in the end. It seems like in the end that the guys from Midas Club Elite are not letting them go in terms of the pressure they're putting up, still pushing these towers. And whenever any mess ups happen by the Kunkka, for example, they're very, very important that they're able to actually kill them off. And oh, look now, okay, yeah, the poor Kunkka comes back. They don't have Kinetic Field though, so they can't really set it up. Again, the X marks the spot. That combo is working well for him, but what impact are you really having as a Kunkka in this game? And even in the mid lane, we see the Troll being harassed. Caustic Finale, they hit him with a Hurricane Pike, and Troll is gonna be destroyed. That is why Hurricane Pike early is so important on OD.
Actually, pay attention to this super aggressive words from Zero and Midas Club Elite. They see all rotations from the base plus jungle. Yeah, they got what's on cliffs. And even though they got Zeus from their side, he didn't do what that much. Oh, that's a Jet Konka, I believe.
Yeah, in comes the OD. The slide, Konka still surviving. Can they finish him? Yeah, Maleficent to finish him off, and let us even cuts on the trees that OD could gather easily. Gunner is dewarding this. This is a really? They see you, and you're just there. How long do you think it takes them? Yeah, you dewarded. Good job. Now you died yourself. That was a ward behind your tower. You could have dewarded safely at any other point except when the enemy team was right next to you.
Yeah, that was a very risky play by Gunner, and now without this, they are losing their tier 2 on bottom. Also no Konka. Even with the Blink Dagger and Upshake, it doesn't feel like they can fight that efficiently, and they're slowly but surely losing all their space to farm. But at least the problem is for Midas Club Elite, how are they going to go high ground against Zeus plus Shaker plus Konka? That's a problematic thing, in my opinion. And we were discussing what kind of an item there will be on Enigma, and first item, Pipe of Insight, instant pickup by Lelis against Zeus and Earthshaker. Great choice, in my opinion.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, it's in general, it's just a really good item on the OD, right? So to begin with, but like you said, it is just fantastic against them. The pipe itself on Lelis is also fantastic against most of the damage that the Big Fan is putting out, but as well the healing you get on the Enigma, since you don't really need that BKB this game because the Konka has no impact. You're perfectly fine. And now Cash, careful. There's Papita.
Well,
the Arcane.
no way out.
Ah, he's dead. Oh, Hurricane Pike.
Style points for Papita, and 9-0 for OD.
Yeah. Domination. I mean, this game is hard to say what it can do to come back. Big Fan is having a lot of trouble. I mean, they keep getting objectives in these small kills, but the trades are not even for them. And now the Glimpse brings back a Zingo, and they don't even use the Konka. Oh no, Konka wasn't there. Sorry, wrong hero. Burst Strike still stops him. Troll Warlord, Hurricane Pike to set him in the wrong position. They even commit the epicenter. It's just so Teal can show off that he actually has his ultimate, because he hasn't used it a single time in this game. He doesn't need it at all, because Midas has just destroyed him. It really, OD alone could probably win this game right now.
Yeah. The Papita is super farmed now on a godlike streak, and next item going to be a BKB, and after that OD is completely unstoppable. He jumps on the 4 cash, 3 hits, and for Shadow Shaman is dead. Hiding himself, not getting taunted. Oh, Papita.
I mean, it wasn't even that good of a play. It's that how do you expect to get the OD? It's really hard to actually get the X marks the spot into the OD, because the X marks the spot on enemies last 4 seconds, your Astral Imprisonment lasts 4 seconds, and your Torrent is a 1.6 second setup, which means that either the OD takes 1.6 seconds to use the Astral Imprisonment because he's slow, or there's just no way of doing this. Offensive 4 stuff, I believe, on this Kunkka, using the ghost ship, misses on everyone, but it gets the buff on himself at the very least. They could glimpse him back. No, they don't have range. And the Plague Wards will start.
Gunner is still stuck on the top lane
for
so long.
Oh no, he just cancelled his TP. Oh no.
Oh no, and now without Zeus defending high ground, oh, that's a problem.
Yeah, this could just be it. I don't think they saw that, but we did. Anyway, enough has been sent back. Echo Slam committed. Shackles also onto this OD, but the Black Hole gets 4! And this might just be it. Oh, they even destroy them. OD drops the hammer and brings down everyone in Big Fan in one fellow swoop. As they now destroy the Rax. Gunner comes from behind. He's invisible. What do you really want to do here, Gunner? What's the plan?
Run to the base, most likely. The pure suicide.
He's just gonna get hit by the sandstorm. Like, guys, it's hurting so much. I mean, you can maybe kill Papita if you're really lucky, and Papita has a moment where he's just off his keyboard for some strange reason, doesn't use Astral Imprisonment. Look, he's waiting for the right moment to use this amazing combo, but he just can't even have the pipe ready. Oh, okay.
Arcane Rune up.
That
did pipe.
No.
Oh god.
Gunner, goodbye. And even commits suicide in the end. Enigma might be saved. No, he's not, as the force stuff is not sufficient to save him. Buccaneer might have to sacrifice his life. But the wagging of the tail, here comes the epicenter, and it hits a bunch of people. Doesn't deal enough damage to kill anyone. The OT is here, though, to clean up the floor. And there's 1 dead, 2 dead now. OT wants to make it 3, but he's only going to find the Shadow Shaman instead. It's alright, but it's not the person he had in his head. Now let's see if Gunner can find another kill. Papita being smoked up so he can run away. He's still 56 intelligence stolen, though. Gunner, do you really want to be in that kinetic field? They might just kill you with 3 hits. However, the OD will play it safe. You're up against Zeus anyway, so it's a good idea.
Very unexpected blink from Enigma made it possible to take the mid lane Raxus and that cancelled TP on Zeus. What a misfortune for a Big Fan. It feels like everything is going not for their sake in this game.
It does seem like they're slightly not really taking this too. Like, a lot of the mistakes Big Fan has been doing, questionable plays. It just seems like they're not taking this too seriously almost. It's just sloppy. It seems maybe because they've given up on this game specifically and they just want to win a second one because they've already classified or something of the sort. And as you can see, that Zeus play, I mean, I could barely even catch it if it wasn't because I happened to hit Zeus and I saw him like channeling for like maybe what 0.2 seconds and he canceled it by accident because he bought an item. That doesn't really happen. Cash, by the way, is dead. They didn't glimpse him just to make sure the Shackles does nothing. It's just really hard to play against an OD when you're so far behind.
Yeah, and this OD is actually a very scary guy. Yet he's powerless against trees. You can kill heroes, you can make a rampage with a sanity eclipse, but trees, goddamn trees. Finally, you understand the whining of Timbersaw every time he complains about it. Yeah. Take a look at the top lane. Kunkka actually tries to cut the creep wave because he knows he really needs to defend his base, and that's the only way possible.
You don't really need it though with the Plague Wards. They're able, as long as some of the creeps are coming from the mid lane, they still have enough meat shields per se to push these towers, and they still have a couple creeps anyway. And Lelis with the Eidolons, also the Plague Wards, they should be able to push this anyway. As you can see, the Metamancer, or sorry, the Sand King putting some pressure in this mid lane. And Mabita just walks into the enemy base. He has BKB, pretty confident. Lost his Hurricane Pike and Blink Dagger. They're both on cooldown. Oh, it seems like they don't want to go in too far. Only Papita. Papita's like, guys, we can kill all of them. But this team is not agreeing with us. Yeah. Oh,
actually, for a reason, Papita actually may go down, uses his BKB. Punishing enough. Oh god.
Well, that could buy enough. Even misses the Sanity's Eclipse just for style points. And in the top lane, we already saw half of that play where Kunkka actually died. Missed Static Storm by Disruptor, but they had enough damage anyway. And Papita survives this mid lane engagement. TP's back home. He's perfectly fine. And it's time for the guys at Midas Club Elite to start doing a bit more damage.
Actually, interesting item choice for OD. After BKB, he goes for Reflob. Double BKB, double Sanity Eclipse. Well, that's going to be a disaster. And poor Zingle got trapped.
I mean, that Refresher Orb is a bit weird. Oh, okay. By Zingle. Yep. Yeah, I saw that. There's just a simple Midnight Pulse to deal a lot of damage, and, well, destroyed Glimpse brings back the Zeus. Where's your mobility? Even Black Hole committed, because they know this is a kill might just mean game, and the Zeus is gonna go down. It's not the Epicenter worst case scenario, I believe. Yeah, if they need to fight, they have the Epicenter and Burst Strike. Stop, please, Zingle, please stop crying. And now it's time for them to start taking these towers down.
Well, Rifleborn OD can be really decent with this double BKB. He's not afraid of anything. Oh, Cash getting punished for this.
Hurricane Pike just to finish off Cash. No matter where you go, I will find you, says the OD, as he orbs him to the face. And now it's time to take these towers down. And with the Plague Lords, this is going to be an easy job, especially with the Plague Lords and Eidolons. Yeah, I heard the base. Yeah, so enough is planning, but there's no Echo Slam, so they can't really do much. Just gonna hit him hard. The Glimpse brings him back to the same place where he was before with the X marks, and now they managed to kill off the poor Kunkka. Papita hits the Zeus and destroys him with just 4 orbs to the face, killing him off. The Troll Warlord still fighting against Papita, but there's not enough stuns in the world to stop this OD as he just decimates everyone in the enemy team. In comes enough. Fissure into 2. They still want to get a kill, but somehow Papita still surviving thanks to the Hurricane Pike. In comes the Epicenter, misses it completely, tries to blink in and will hit them eventually. However, that Zeus is already dead, and Phenomancer with these snakes, they're trying to kill him off. Not enough damage. Cash and Earthshaker will just give up their lives to the OD god, and in the end, it seems like the GG well played will be called immediately by the guys at Big Fan.
23-0 on OD doesn't seem like a probable scenario to win from a Big Fan. They didn't manage to run their early game lineup that successfully, and in the late game, well, let's be honest, pick of a Midas Club Elite is absolutely superior with the OD plus Disruptor and Black Hole from Enigma.
And with that, guys, we will be coming back with game number 2 very shortly between Big Fan and Midas Club Elite. Do not, we'll be waiting very shortly. My name's been DSwordfish. I've been here with Vätte for the ProDota Cup American version, of course sponsored by XBet, and we'll come back soon with game number 2 for this series. Enjoy some tunes while we wait.